A year ago, I made a video about this storage unit, how excited I was to get it, how much of a better deal it was than the unit I had at that time. I was saving so much money and I was really excited about it. Then over the last year, I got broken into and robbed, and they raised the rent on me twice. It's no longer the deal it was, and I don't even really feel safe here. What do I do now? Hey, what's up everybody? Dave from Quarter Flips here. Welcome to my channel. What did I do about that storage unit? I went and got myself a new one. So here is the new unit. This is a 10 by 30. The one I'm leaving is a 10 by 25. And not only that, this is $200 less than what I was paying at the storage unit that I got out of a year ago. When I got into that new one, was very excited that I was going to be saving so much money. If I was staying in the old one, I'd be paying $100 more per month. So this is a great deal. Plus, first 2 months, half price rent. This seemed like a no-brainer. I had to get in. The other cool thing is they told me the price was locked in for 6 months. And on big units, when they do a price increase, they keep it very small. I know how storage works. We'll see how that works when we actually get there, but for right now, I'm taking my word on it. I'm gonna take the extra savings and get the extra space. Done. So I'm very happy with my new storage space, and hopefully it's gonna last longer than the one that I got into last year. This new one has a lot more workspace. I have room to put in more products. That means I can go buy a bunch more stuff and have a place to store it before listing it, which is probably a problem because it's currently full of things that need to be listed. Maybe less space would mean I get more listing done, but I'm not gonna think that way right now. But there's more space in there to put a table so I can actually go through and sort and maybe even take photos in there for listings. So I'm going to definitely this year focus on making that space work for me and making more money reselling. And I do want to talk about some reselling stuff. I'm going to go over some sales that I've had that have been pretty good in the last couple months since the last time I listed some what solds. But one thing that I wanted to talk about before I did all that is a show on Apple TV called Silo. And the reason I want to talk about this show is because it relates to something that I wrote. So here's how this all works. There's an author named Hugh Howey. He wrote a book called Wool. It was an early, huge success on Amazon Kindle where people self-publish. It was originally just a short novella. He ended up writing 5 shorts and putting them together in a thing called the Wool Compendium. It was a fantastic story about people living in an underground silo after some kind of apocalypse on Earth, and they didn't know what it was. They'd been down there for so long, they didn't know their history. This ended up expanding into 3 full books, Wool, Shift, and Dust. It's a great story, and now it is a TV show on Apple TV called Silo. They're in season 2, and I believe when I'm filming this, they've aired 7 episodes out of 10 for season 2. I wanted to make this video back when they did season 1, but I never got around to it. The reason why I want to tell you about Silo and Hugh Howey is because I wrote a book that takes place in the world of the Silo. It's called Shadow Killer, and I published it years back when I first became aware of the Silo books. Now, at the time, people were writing fan fiction. I don't have this story down exactly, so if you wanted to follow up on this and find out exactly how this happened, the information is out there. But someone asked Hugh Howey if they could, I believe, post something that they had written that was fan fiction, essentially. And Hugh Howey said to them, "Why don't you publish it? I don't care. You can use my setting for your books. I don't mind." Which was kind of revolutionary. It wasn't just that it's okay with me that you make fan fiction. It's okay with me that you write in something I created and make your own money off of it. And this actually kind of caught fire, and more people did it. And then Amazon did a program called Kindle Worlds where anyone could write in a number of different authors' settings that they had put together. That went for a while, but then they ended up shutting that program down. When I wrote my book, it was for Kindle Worlds. After they shut down Kindle Worlds, Hugh Howey said that we were allowed to republish our books through Amazon since we'd gone through all the work, and we could still have them up. So I do have this story up on Kindle right now. I'll put the link down below if you want to check it out. I'll also link Hugh's stuff. Hugh is a phenomenal person. He really is. I met him one day at a book signing where I picked up this copy of Machine Learning, a book of short stories that he did, and got a chance to show him the cover for my Kindle Worlds book and talk to him about that just a little bit. This book is phenomenal. If you are a fan of Silo, if you have read the books, and if you're watching the show, this Machine Learning book has 3 Silo stories that Hugh wrote that take place around his books that add additional context. So you might want to pick this up and follow them up. They're called like The End is Nigh, The End is Here, something like, and there's another one.
Okay, I got this part wrong, so I'm going to try to fix it now while I'm editing. Those are not the names of the stories. Those are the names of the book collections that these stories originally appeared in. The End is Nigh, The End is Now, and The End is Come. The Silo stories that Hugh wrote that were originally in those books are called In the Air, In the Mountain, and In the Woods. And with those 3 stories, you get a final full picture of the entire Silo story.
Hugh Howey, awesome dude. So my book is called Shadow Killer. It is a novella. It's just 20-something thousand words. It takes up something like 87 Kindle pages. It's very short. It was the first thing that I wrote and published that wasn't a screenplay. So it was kind of a different thing for me. I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could do it. Because of that, I've been doing a ton of writing since. I do talk about it on here every once in a while that I've been doing some writing. A couple years ago, I left to LA to go work on that film that I co-wrote. But yeah, Shadow Killer is my one actual book that is available. If you wanted to check it out, I would love it if you would check it out. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. You can read it on Kindle. Otherwise, it's $2-3. And like I said, I'll put a link down below. There is no print version of it yet, but eventually I'll probably make a print version of it. So anyway, because Silo is out and it's been doing so well, and they just announced that they are renewing it for seasons 3 and 4 so that they can tell the entire story and end it, and the story does end, I thought I should talk about it now while it was still relevant in some way. Let's move on. Let's talk about sales. I've had a number of decent sales on eBay over the last couple months since the last time I posted things and showed you some of the prices. A number of the things that I showed in videos when I bought them and talked about have sold. I'm selling all the usual stuff, toys, DVDs. I got some decent prices on some DVDs, and some of the ones that I bought, I lotted up and sold for some decent prices. Music, I've sold a number of music items, both vinyl and CD, sometimes CD lots. CD lots are a great way to go if you have multiple CDs of a single artist where none of the CDs sell for a lot on their own. Lot them up. It's just like Lonnie talked about in the video he just put out on Shed Flips about books. When you've got books that don't sell for a lot individually, but you have a lot by the same author in the same series, lot those things up. That goes for DVDs too. Honestly, you can a lot of times sell DVDs in a series or with the same actor. When you have stuff that just doesn't seem like it's worth enough individually, pile it up together and you make more money than you might expect. But books, for me, have been doing very well this year also. I've sold, as usual, a bunch of gaming books and some other kind of random stuff. And then in my last video that was about Star Wars collectibles, I found this Star Wars book that I was very excited about. It was about the people at Kenner who had to figure out how to make all the Star Wars toys when Star Wars blew up originally. That book was selling for between like $60 and $80. I put it up for $100 because it was the only one listed, and it sold right away. Probably a Christmas gift for someone. But I was very, very happy about that. That was one of my big, good surprising sales. And if you don't know what I'm talking about this book, go back and watch the last video I put up, the one about Star Wars collectibles. Almost no one watched that video for some reason. Maybe there's Star Wars fatigue. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. But yeah, if you want to go back and check that out, it'll make this book make a little more sense. Also, I've done really well with plush. I don't sell a ton of plush, but When I do, it's usually, I got it for so cheap, it's a great profit margin. And sometimes I sell something really great like this camel, which I did show in an earlier video. This person was very excited. They contacted me to kind of work out a deal. I let them have it for 60 bucks plus shipping, and they were so excited. They contacted me after they got the camel, and they were just thrilled. That's something about people that you'll discover when they're into buying plush. They will often contact you and tell you how excited they are. If you sell them junk, I'm assuming they're going to come back at you and say, this was junk, you misrepresented it. But I'm very good with my pictures and descriptions and try to always make sure that the item that the person is getting is better than the way I represented it, if I can, because that keeps people happy and keeps my feedback up. Speaking of feedback, I had a terrible piece of feedback that I was not able to get revised, and it has it's taken my 100% feedback rating down, and I'm very unhappy about that. And it's so frustrating because the item was a Region 2 DVD. A Region 2 DVD will not play in US DVD players, which are Region 1. I occasionally find Region 2 DVDs, and I can't even play test them because I don't have a player that will play them. So what I always do, as I did in this case, is put asterisks in the title that say Region 2 or PAL or will not play, something up there to let the people know. And then in the description, I write that you need a special player to play this. This is not a US DVD. Go on and on about it. So you'd be able to tell by looking at the pictures, because usually the back cover will tell you what the region is. My title says it won't work. My description says it won't work. And yet I got this feedback from someone who says, well, you can read it. Negative feedback, at least the movie's hard to find, but they can't play it. All they had to do was read any part of the listing or know what they were looking at, and they would have known what they were getting. And as I told them, I'll just be happy to take the DVD back and refund your money. That would be fine too. But I got no communication back from them, just the negative feedback. I really hate this aspect of being a reseller. Like, as far as I know, I've done everything that I could do to do this properly and to be gracious about it. And yet I've still got this garbage feedback, as if I tricked them into buying something. All they had to do was pay attention to what they were buying, and they'd know what it was. No trick at all. I went out of my way. Asterisks. I'm sure if you're a seller, you've dealt with some of this in the past. I've heard that there's someone at eBay that I can reach out to. I don't know if that is still the case. Can you still reach out to their Twitter or X or whatever it's called account and have them go in and remove bad feedback when it doesn't make sense? Does anyone have any experience with that? I've seen people talk about it in their videos before. If you have experience with that, please let me know in the comments. Other than that, I think that's it for today. This will be my last video of the year. I do not know what videos are going to look like in the beginning of the coming year. There's a lot going on in life right now. I'm going to try to keep getting stuff up, but I make no promises. It may be a little while before I hit the ground running on this again. So I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.